You're tuned in to the Vintage House Show, home to the original stories of the history of house music as told by the legends, pioneers, and icons. Hosted by Kevin Mega McFall, Lori Branch, and Lauren Lowry.
So Nolan, thank you so much for becoming a part of this. I know you were 300 Entertainment. Why was this an important project for you?
So in our DNA, Hip House was important because it's part of a series that we're going to do. And the idea is that we want to look at black genres, the origins of black genres, and really give tribute and pay tribute to the people that created it, right? We know in the next 20, 30 years, the way technology is going, the way this world is going, our stories are going to get erased. Exactly. So we feel like it is important, not only important, but it's a must. Like, we have to be the ones to tell the story and find the people that actually created these genres to be on camera talking about it. Exactly. And so this is actually the first installation or the first installment of the In Our DNA series.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
You're going to love it.
I'm with WNUR, the Vintage House Show, and we preserve and celebrate the history of house music here in Chicago with paraphernalia, with ephemera, with all of those different things.
That's very cool.
Will we see a lot of that in the documentary, or what are we? Is it stories? Are we?
It's more stories. It's more sort of a narrative about how it started, and I think what we did really, or what the director did really well. The director is Whitney Clinsdale, young sister, maybe. Probably not even 30 yet, right? But she looked at the whole story through the lens of a millennial or a Gen Zer, right? And what she was able to do is sort of show that there was a parallel. And I don't want to give you too much because I want you to see it. Yeah. But there's a parallel between how house was created and how hip hop was created, right? Yeah. And usually it's us not having. And so we just innovate. And then the ultimate sort of collision of the two was inevitable. And so the story kind of talks about that. But what I love that Whitney did, we got the actual pioneers, the people that created it, to get on camera and speak their truth. And, you know, so pretty excited about it.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much. Terry Hunter.
Hey.
Executive producer of this documentary. How did it get started? How'd you get involved?
Listen, we had big shout out to my man Emmaculate. He's part of Mirrorball, and obviously Kelly G and Nolan. We was toying around with an idea a couple of years ago, and they had the way of bringing this documentary to life. It originally, I'm gonna let you in on the secret, it started supposed to be a house music documentary, but the Hip House one was a episode in that. Yeah. And when we were doing the teasers for it, 300 went out, Kelly G and Nolan, and, you know, got with Kevin Lyles, and they saw it, and they was like, wait a minute, it's the 50 years of hip hop, and Hip House didn't get its just due. Exactly. Let's move with the Hip House one first. And I was just, you know, excited, and we here, like, so it was just the idea that we had been conversating over for 2.5 years, and 300 Studios got the deal done with Xfinity. Big shout to Keesha. And we're here, and we're doing this for Chicago. Around the world, we're doing this for house music. And this just is another arm or a leg of house music that we get to showcase, man. And I'm excited to be a part of it.
You know, I know that we think about hip house a little bit when we talk about the history of house music.
Yes.
What happened? Why did it sort of dissipate? I know we're going to learn more in the documentary, but what are your thoughts generally?
The reason why I think is hip hop came in so heavy, and it just, I blame us too, Chicagoans, is that we didn't stick with it, and then I felt like a lot of the artists fell off and started doing other things, and so it just naturally fizzled out. But then you look at the younger artists that was really doing it, and they picked up on it and was hearing the stuff from like Latifah, the Jungle Brothers, Fast Steady, and so they started flipping it in their way, and so you start seeing, tempo's getting faster, here's Drake, all right, now Beyonce's rapping, so on and so on, Megan Thee Stallion, and now we're here. And I think they don't realize that they're doing hip house, and we're gonna let them know really what you're doing is hip house.
Thank you, Terry, so much for this great documentary. We can't wait.
Listen, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for, I'll have you move over a little bit this way. Thank you so much for supporting this documentary. Why was this important for you to support?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that we're trying to do at Comcast with our Black Experience on Xfinity channel is to always tell stories that center Black culture and identity and help tell stories that maybe everyone doesn't know about. And so while we were all on the dance floor listening to this music, maybe everyone didn't know the backstory, how special it is to Chicago, and the fact that Chicago birthed this very groundbreaking genre that is really the fusion of Chicago house music and hip-hop. It's the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, so no time like the present than to tell this story.
I know. We really thank you so much. Chicagoans always want their stories to be told. We seem to be like the last on the list.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything new about Chicago as you were producing this and viewing it?
Yeah, you know, I have to say, I've always appreciated the music, but I didn't know the backstory. I didn't know all of the legends, all the Chicago legends, and I think that's what I really loved about this. And especially hearing, and you'll see, especially once it gets to episode 2 and starting into episode 3, is, you know, what did and didn't happen for all of those courageous artists. And that's really what touched me. You know, they did so much to bring this genre to life, and they don't get enough just due. So that's what tonight's about.
Keesha, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You are listening to Vintage House on WNUR with DJ Lori Branch, Kevin Mega McFall, and Lauren Laurie.
So, Kelly, thank you so much for bringing this story to life. Why was this important to you?
I think it was very important to be able to tell our stories, right? There's a lot of stories of unsung heroes, especially here in Chicago.
Sure.
As you know, as someone who kind of grew up in Chicago, I went to school here in Chicago, and Chicago raised me musically. And as I traveled around the world and saw its influence, and then I had a conversation, overheard a conversation where somebody was saying, "Oh, house music started in Jersey," and I'm like, "Wait, what?" And it dawned upon me, it's like, wow, we're in this midst of a misinformation that can travel so quickly. And I was like, we need to document our own stories, and we need to celebrate our heroes, our unsung heroes, the Fast Eddies, Sundance, Mike Dunn, Terry Hunter, that has been championing this music around the world. These guys are rock stars overseas, and we need to tell that story.
Got it. Is there anything, what did you learn from this documentary? Is there anything special that you saw as you were making this movie? What was something that stood out to you that you didn't know? And we know you know a lot of stuff.
I guess I think the biggest thing I found out was more of how these guys were really forgotten. You know it, but then when you sitting down doing these interviews and hearing the real stories, and there's a part where Mike Dunn talks about him traveling and going all these places to feed his family. And they don't pay Mike Dunn the kind of money they pay a David Guetta or some of these other people. But if you talk to David Guetta, he goes, "Oh my God, it's Mike Dunn." So it was just more of a up-close, personal sort of revelation that you go, wow, this is why we needed to do this. Fast Eddie, I mean, when Fast Eddie was hot, I was in college. I was on WNUR 89.3. And he was like a god to us. Like when Fast Eddie came out with a record, the city was on fire.
Right.
And to see like this guy just sort of just out there now and no one told his story.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that to me was my mission statement. That's what I felt like I had to do, that to give back to a community that helped raise me.
Kelly, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being a part of this and a part of Chicago history. Why was this project important for you to be a part of?
Well, it was the integration between hip-hop music and house music, and I brought that to the forefront, and I labeled it and gave it a category for all to know today, which started like 25, 30 years ago.
Right. And so you're a Chicagoan.
Yes.
Where'd you go to grammar school? Where'd you go to high school? You know, those are the Chicago questions you got to answer.
All on the west side.
Nice. West side.
What was my grammar school? I can't even remember the name of the grammar. Oh, John Hay Elementary.
Okay, very good.
And then my high school was Resin Orr.
We know Orr. You might inspire some of those kids to create some music, you know what I mean, from the west side. So what are we going to learn? What do you think we're going to learn about Chicago and about hip house in this documentary? What will be new that people didn't know?
Well, for one, that it started here. We are the creators.
Yes.
And the culture behind the music. You know, there's the hip hop culture and the house music. You know, so that's what they'll learn. They get a little information from that.
Got it. Fast Eddie, thank you so much for talking to us.
No, thank you, Lauren.
Have a good one.
You too.
I'm the spokesperson for this, and I am.
Okay.
Just to warn you, just to let you know.
So tell me your name.
My name is William Bell.
And how are you attached to this project?
So I work at Comcast. I am the Executive Director of Multicultural Communications. So I'm here to support the communications aspect of the event. I've been working at Comcast for 4 years now, and I love these events because I feel like it's a really great way for us to tell stories and reach new audiences with this platform, Black Experience on Xfinity, that we launched in 2021.
And so,
I don't remember the year.
Why was Comcast interested in sharing this story, supporting this story?
Yeah, so I think that given the fact that, you know, we are a media company, it's a natural fit to tell a story about music genres, history of entertainment, and I think this story in particular is interesting because I think a lot of folks may not realize how hip-hop and house music influenced each other. So this documentary is kind of about like the collision of those two genres. We have a lot of great music legends here tonight, and it's just really fun to have these type of events. And it's going to be on our platform. It will be airing exclusively on Black Experience on Xfinity, but also on Zumo for folks who don't have Xfinity service.
When is it going to air?
Starting tomorrow, December 7th.
Wow,
on the platform. Yeah, so folks that are interested can actually, if you have Xfinity, for example, you can use the voice remote and you can say the title of it. You can also say Black Experience on Xfinity and look and see the entire library of content that we have on that platform.
That's exciting. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Greg Winfield, how did you become a part of this wonderful documentary?
I'm a DJ producer for the last 40 years in Chicago. Started out on the South Side at a small college station, and we put out a lot of hip house music as well, played over the radio for the South Side of Chicago, which was ultimately a way of introducing and promoting and getting the music into the mainstream of Chicago and around.
What radio station was that?
It was WKKC.
89.3 on the South Side.
Yes,
right?
it is. Yes, it was.
Are you from Chicago?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Where'd you go to grammar school? Where'd you go to high school? Give me the
I went
info.
to a small grammar school, St. Margaret of Scotland on the South Side, and graduated from Brother Rice High School, class 82.
All Catholic.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we're happy that you assisted with this documentary to get the word out on hip house and house music in Chicago. Thank you so much, Greg.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell me your name again.
Brian Frazier.
Brian Frazier. Are you from Chicago?
Yes.
You got all that bear stuff on.
Oh, yeah, from
How did you become a part of this documentary?
I've been DJing in Chicago for a long, long time, and I, was on the radio playing hip house.
Okay.
So that's the reason why they put me in the documentary. I played it really, really big.
That's awesome. Where'd you go to high school and grammar school in Chicago?
I went to grammar school, D.S. Whitworth, and I went to the Academy of Fine Arts, a school for music. I'm a drummer also. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being a part of
Oh, thank you for interviewing me.
Inspiration in hip hop, such an inspiration. I'm so grateful to be here.
What about house music?
Love it.
Connection.
House music. I mean, house music is my era, right?
Yeah.
So it's back in the day. So
You're a Chicagoan?
I am Chicago. I'm actually originally from Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
I moved here about 25 years ago. So heavy house. Just grateful, man. I'm very influenced, very inspired.
All right. Well, what do you anticipate from the documentary tonight?
I think gratitude and just giving inspiration, hopefully, to future artists, and just thanking the artists that paved the way for so many current artists, right now. So hopefully this will be the beginning of a new surgence of not only new artists, but appreciating the old artists from the past, my brother.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for stopping by and taking some time with the Vintage House Show. Please tune in and check us out so you can hear your interview and, of course, get more about the history, the business, and the culture.
Love it, and I appreciate your nice jacket too, brother. Appreciate it.
Immaculate, how did you become involved in this fantastic project?
Well, it started with having the personal bond and music bond with Kelly G.
Okay.
So Kelly G had put out several records of his. Well, we've all known each other for a long time. Myself, Terry Hunter, and Kelly G. We had put several of Kelly G's records out on T's Box, T's Crates Records.
Okay.
And through conversation, we started discussing doing a house music documentary. Kelly had already started working with Kevin Lyle's company, 300 Studios.
Okay.
And they were in the midst of doing a Bubba Wallace race documentary with Netflix.
Yeah.
And so that's how the conversation started. We just decided to partner up, Terry Hunter and myself, on behalf of our label Mirrorball Recordings, and Kelly G and Nolan Baynes on behalf of 300 Studios, which is Kevin Lyle's company. So we just started building on the concept of doing a house documentary, and that led us to Comcast being interested in that.
Nice.
And based on the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, we decided to take the hip house chapter of the house music documentary and split it out into its own standalone piece.
Which is so fantastic, because no one has even really touched on it. It went and left.
Forget that. I'm starting rapping on all his tracks. I'm rapping. We're going to do the real hip hop.
Don't listen to anything.
That was Terry Hunter. Got it. Well, listen, thank you so much for putting this out. And we'd love to talk to you further after this is over. Bring you back to the station.
Anytime. You already know. Anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Take care. Good to see you.
Thanks for listening to the Vintage House Show podcast. Please subscribe and share, and check us out live, WNUR 89.3 FM, Wednesdays at 10 o'clock.